Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and do the belly thingy. Like, what is the job of the government if not to make sure that people aren't sick and dying, going into debt because they're sick? What is the job of the government if not that? What do Americans think of socialized medicine? This should be interesting.
What do you think about socialized healthcare?
I do not like the idea of that.
I don't want the government picking what I can and cannot do.
Well, my
All right, we're off to a good start.
husband's from Europe, so I think it's pretty good, actually. I think a lot of people are covered by it. Everybody's covered. They don't have to worry about paying for it.
It's definitely more accessible for everybody. It allows all of us to remain healthy, to live long lives as much as we can.
I think it's kind of a necessity that the government provides healthcare for its citizens.
Oh, there's hope. There's hope. The younger generation.
If everybody has something for free, who's going to pay for it?
No one said free. No one said free. Look at him. He thinks he just owned all of socialized medicine. He's like, yeah? You ever think about that?
okay, what if people pay for it by taxes? What do you think of that?
Well, that's going to increase. You like to pay taxes?
Yeah. Yeah. I like to pay taxes when it pays for healthcare. Yeah. I do.
So first of all, let me ask you, do you know what the NHS is?
No.
They regulate and provide national health services for the UK.
What do you think the average copay is under the NHS?
I can't imagine it goes any lower than 30.
The amount for me is like $120 to see my family physician.
Lady, you have terrible healthcare coverage. Like, I have to pay $50 just to look at a doctor.
And so based on that, what would you guess would be the price there? Similar?
Probably, I would say probably higher.
Idiot.
It's actually, there isn't a copay, so it's $0. Or do you know if you get healthcare if you're not a citizen, do you think, under the NHS?
Isn't there certain protections, but not all of them?
You actually do get healthcare if you're not a citizen. What about if you're homeless?
Yes.
Correct. What about specialized costs, or specialized care, like an inhaler or an EpiPen?
In the UK, for inhaler or prescriptions, and I'm just guessing, at the most $20.
I'm guessing UK doesn't pay anything, which really sucks because we pay a lot.
I would say it's probably higher.
Why would it be higher? Why would it be higher under socialized medicine? The main thing that is inflating the cost of healthcare is the for-profit middleman that is private insurance. That is eliminated under socialized medicine. Why would it be more expensive?
Considering what it costs here, I'm going to ballpark that at also another 25-ish.
Okay, it's actually £9
Just 9.
for any medication, which is about $12.
Okay, so they are cheaper.
So they are cheaper. What do you think of that?
I am still for individual medical care.
Come on, man. Come on. Why? Because you feel like you've earned being alive? Not as a consequence of being a citizen, not as a consequence of, you being alive on this planet or contributing to the economy by, working for your entire life. This is an older lady, so I imagine that she's retired at this point. So what? You don't think that working your entire life until retirement has earned you some kind of thing to provide you health care. I mean, she's probably old enough to qualify for Medicaid or Medicare. So she's already using a form of socialized medicine. Why do you want individual cost? In the U.S., an EpiPen can cost roughly $600 to $650 for a pack of 2. The best-selling inhalers cost an average of $250 to $350. The average cost of delivering a baby, oh God, in a hospital is about $10,000.
So have you ever avoided seeking health care or treatment or medication or any sort of health service because of the cost and you were worried about having to pay some sort of fee?
Yes, I have experienced that a lot with patients that come in with pneumonia but have been at home for a matter of 5 days and came in when it got worse and had to be admitted to the hospital. And we're like, why didn't you come in sooner? Well, I couldn't afford this bill, so I was trying to take care of myself at home first.
Even just at school, I know people who, let's say, don't have the student health insurance plan, won't go get, let's say, like contraception or things like that because they don't really want to pay for it out of pocket.
I found out later that I had sprained my ACL. I couldn't move, but I also didn't want to call an ambulance because I couldn't afford it.
So what'd you do?
I got on my friend's back.
But my sister, she has like a lot of allergies, so like instead of like using the ambulance for her like anaphylactic allergies, we had to drive her, which is very scary because you know you don't know about like traffic or anything. You don't have the same privileges as an ambulance on the road.
Have you ever not sought treatment because you're afraid of a cost?
No, ma'am.
That is a lie. That is bullshit. Everyone in the U.S., unless this lady's very wealthy. I don't know, I'm seeing a U.S. capital on her shirt here. I don't know if this is memorabilia from a certain day in January. But everyone in the U.S. avoids medical treatment. For things large and for things small. Everyone does this, unless they are very rich. So, she's capping.
Do you know anyone who has?
No, ma'am.
Absolute lie.
What about people who are afraid of the cost of, say, an ambulance?
Okay, that happens all the time because we have so many Americans that don't want to go in debt and they're trying to save money and they think they can go buy a car instead of an ambulance.
Oh, so it's their fault. Got it.
So what would you think if that service was free?
If that service was free, anything that's free, sometimes it's not worth having.
It's an ambulance. Hey, my leg just got crushed in a car accident. I'll need to pay several hundred, maybe a couple $1,000 for an ambulance ride to the hospital. You know, not my fault that I broke my leg or whatever the hell. You know, having to pay a couple $1,000 for an ambulance ride to the hospital just seems worth it. No, it's not. What's the percentage? Like 60% of the country can't afford. 68% of the country can't afford a $300 surprise medical expense. 68%. Seems good. 54% of the doctors in the U.S. report problems with getting patients meds. Seems like a good system. Only 15% of the doctors in the UK reported having these problems. I wonder why.
77% of people in Britain support the NHS and are happy with it. Would you say that you are happy with the United States healthcare system?
No. Definitely not.
No, and I'm actually pretty lucky because I work for the university, so my insurance is pretty good, and even then I'm not happy with it.
That's a loaded question.
No, it's not a loaded question. It's just a straight up question. You satisfied with this shit? You satisfied with the dog shit healthcare system we have in the U.S.? You like this?
I have insurance, and it's good insurance through my husband's company, but we pay through the nose for it.
Okay, if your husband loses his job tomorrow, he's not going to have that health insurance. Do you like that?
If it were free, I would love that. And if we only paid $350 a month, that would be a huge deal.
I don't believe that our government should be responsible for providing all of us health care.
It is the only job of a government to ensure the health and well-being of the people that live within it. That is its only responsibility. Healthcare is the biggest responsibility. If you have a country full of sick and dying people, that is a failed state. 60% of this country has at least one underlying health condition. 40% have more than one. It is the sole job of a country's government, to make sure that kind of shit doesn't happen. These people vote, and these people are the loudest advocates against socialized medicine. Jail.
I think the individuals need to be responsible.
I hate this shit.
They need to have a job. They need to look for jobs that provide
jobs, specifically gatekeep healthcare behind full-time employment. Most of the jobs that I have worked at will stop you from working at 39 hours because once you hit 40, you're now full-time. And if you're full-time, they have to give you benefits. I have been told to walk off of job sites because I was about to hit 40 hours for the specific reason they didn't want to give me health insurance. I know this is a retiree because they have no concept of what modern employment is like in this country. This person probably hasn't worked for 10, 12 years.
benefits.
There's so many people, especially people from sort of like lower socioeconomic backgrounds, who can't get the health care that they need because they just can't afford it.
The premiums are still pretty high. They're not unreasonable, but they're still pretty high. The medicine I have to pay for is not covered that much, and it's not even anything crazy. It's literally allergy medicine. And I still have to pay a fair amount every month for just allergies.
People are more than numbers, and they're more than, you know, the change that you make from,
Hell yeah.
yeah, stiffing people out of their health care.
This video is killing me. I keep going back and forth. Hopium, frustration. Hopium, frustration. Younger people, giving me hope. Good perspectives, you know. Older people, jail. Yeah. I had this discussion with a relative. They were like, I don't want the government being in charge of things, especially healthcare. I was like, why? And the same argument. It's not the job of the government to provide healthcare. Like, what is the job of the government if not to make sure that people aren't sick and dying, going into debt because they're sick? What is the job of the government if not that? So ridiculous. Oh.